Hi and welcome, my name's Glenn. Thank you for joining in on this tutorial, the first of two on designing and drawing serving boards, which we know at your next party or barbecue are essential for handing out all of those yummy things that we love. A coolerman such as this one has been made and used for thousands of years by Australian Aboriginal peoples for carrying all sorts of bush tucker. If you're using a flat dressed timber like radiata pine for instance, then one of the ways that we can add interest is by the shape that we design. Timbers have a natural warmth and beauty. Look at all the different colours and the pattern or figure caused by the grain. Here we see a radiata pine, which is really common in schools. This design is a cheese serving board. Can you see where the two pieces of timber are joined together? This design has interest for us because it reminds us of something that's familiar to us. Old fence palings and metal handles have been upcycled to make this look like an interesting serving board. The stitching is an example of inlay. It's using a very thin piece of a different coloured timber to create a pattern. The detail in this basketball is laser etched. Some paint can add a bit of visual interest to a design. Because this timber is fairly light, the etching stands out. That's called contrast. Even a small graphic can have a big impact. This serving board reminds people of an important event or a place. The black knot in the smallest board is a nice feature. Another way to get interest in a design is to combine functions. This magnet obviously holds the cutlery. Are you worried about the knife or fork falling on your toe? Here's a great idea. Chalkboard paint means that we can label in chalk what could be gluten-free or 10 out of 10 chili, look out. A plain design can be beautiful just because of the quality of the finish. Natural materials like leather are often combined with timber, and notice just a little bit of colour can often be better than lots of colour. This design's pretty cool. With some metal strap bent and screwed on underneath and a bit of black paint, it makes it really easy to grab and to move around. It would take a lot of space in your cupboard. Can you modify this design so that it takes up much less space for storage? Now it's time to get drawing. Grab a ruler, eraser and pencil. You can draw on plain paper, or you can find this free download on our website. I'm ruling a guideline here to neatly letter in my name. For each concept, first I'll draw freehand and then I'll show you how it looks using the Splat drawing tool. Hey, this is a chopping board. It's much thicker than a serving board needs to be, but notice how the corner is close towards you and the two sides angle away. That's like an isometric drawing. These lines make an isometric square. The black dot is always the starting point. Now from these 3 points, we're going to draw a short line down, maybe 3 or 4 millimeters. That gives the board some thickness. So just join the ends of the lines up now. You can use a ruler, or even better, practice drawing a freehand line. In the end, we want to be able to quickly sketch up ideas. If you're a beginner, your lines will be wobbly and all over the place. That's absolutely fine. Just try to avoid sketching with these shaggy lines. Look at where you want the line to go and then draw one line. Don't worry if there's gaps. Your drawings will become more accurate with practice. Check you're holding the pencil exactly as you do when you're writing your name. Now draw some straight lines and practice drawing light lines. Next we're drawing a hole in about that position. Remember, in isometric drawings it won't look like an exact circle, it'll look more egg-shaped. Practice a few of those and then sketch one in on your board. Make it look 3D by adding that little line. Here's a close-up on the board so we can see the shape side on. The big area on top is called the face, and we have an edge. Just for practice, can you think of some different shapes that we could cut into the serving board? Go ahead and draw 2 or 3 more. A triangle shape or a slot are 2 examples. Can you come up with your own? Some string through a small hole could hold a label for selling in the shop, or it could be hung. For those of you using the Splat drawing tool, we'll use a clear one and do the same drawing over this side. Notice I've got my isometric angles set on the drawing tool. So here's my starting point, put the point of the splat and draw in 2 lines. Now rotate the splat upside down and line up the corners with your drawing, and then mark in the far 2 edges. So that's my isometric square drawn. You can fix up the corners or do it later. Now remember, we dropped down 3 lines, and then I'm going to put the splat back on the original starting point and slide it down 3 millimeters and mark in my final edges. Choose the shape that you'd like to cut through your board. I'm going to select the circle because they're really easy to cut with a hole saw. Here's how to round off the corners using the small ellipse. Notice how the small ellipse has a little mark above and below. Rotate the splat until they're straight up and down. And that's how you hold the splat to round off the corner. Slide that ellipse over to another corner, line it up and mark in. With a bit of practice, it's pretty easy to round off the corners. When we round the corners off, we need to drop a new line down because we've actually removed some of the timber and made our board slightly shorter. Use a piece of paper over your drawing if you want to erase super accurately. Finally, when you've completed your drawing, draw a darker line all the way around the outside. When I film these tutorials, I really can't use light lines, they don't show up, but you guys should be drawing in really light lines and only darken it in when you've finished your drawing. Here's how to draw 2 boards joined together. Between the 2 corners, place a mark and then bring the point of the splat down on it, and on the splat angle draw a line all the way back. A short line on the edge gives me 2 boards. Great, now for wood grain, just draw some upside down V's, make them light wavy lines. On the other board, let's do something different. Let's draw some wavy grain pattern. On the end grain, just draw a series of parallel lines. That's great, you've done an awesome job today. Making a start is the hardest thing. You'll be amazed at how much you improve with just a little bit of practice. Next, go to video 2, where we'll practice drawing some different handle designs.